Welcome, radiant soul, to old Buddhist philosophy. You did not stumble here by chance. Something far older than time itself whispered your name across dimensions. It wasn't the noise of the world that brought you. It was the quiet pull beneath the surface, the current that moves through stillness, through symbols, through sacred timing. You were summoned, not with urgency, but with grace. And now, here you are, listening, feeling, ready. You are not here to be convinced. You are here to remember, to awaken to what your spirit has long known, but your mind may have forgotten. This moment, this breath, is part of something vast and unseen, a design not drawn by human hands, but etched into the very vibration of your soul's blueprint. The universe doesn't send signs to confuse you. It speaks in frequencies, in symbols, in echoes that stretch across lifetimes. And when you begin to hear them, not with ears, but with awareness, you realize you were never lost. You were always being guided. In the deep folds of this season, when the moon hangs low and the tides carry ancestral whispers, something begins to shimmer behind the veil. The fabric between worlds softens. You begin to sense it, in dreams, in sudden intuition, in the peculiar way certain moments pause, as if time itself is holding its breath. That is the doorway. That is the moment when the sacred begins to speak, not in sentences, but in vibration. The wise ones, Buddha, Padmasambhava, Lao Tzu, taught that the journey inward is not traveled with steps, but with silence. In silence, the teachings emerge. In stillness, truth echoes. When you are fully present, numbers become more than digits. They become keys, codes, ancient syllables of the universal language. They begin appearing where logic fails, on clocks, receipts, book pages, dreams, thoughts you didn't plant, but somehow grew. And those numbers, they aren't trying to tell your fortune. They're trying to restore your frequency. The masters of prophecy, Nostradamus, Baba Vanga, knew that symbols must be hidden in plain sight. Because the eyes of the sleeping world do not recognize the sacred. They laugh at what they do not understand. But for the awakened ones, even the smallest sign becomes a divine revelation, a repeated number, a gentle pull, a pattern that follows you, not to haunt, but to remind you, you are connected, you are chosen, you are becoming. In Buddhist philosophy, we learn to listen beyond language, to sit with the breath until it becomes a doorway, to watch the mind until it dissolves into awareness. And in that awareness, we begin to hear not what the world is saying, but what the soul has been whispering for centuries. The sacred doesn't shout, it waits. It waits for you to slow down enough to notice. And now, you are noticing. You are standing in a portal of remembrance, not the kind that leads forward, but the kind that spirals inward, the kind that returns you to the truth that was never gone, only veiled. Your guides, your ancestors, your higher self, they have all been gently nudging you toward this moment, not because something is missing, but because something is finally ready to rise. This is not the time to chase answers. It is the time to become the answer. You are not here to decode the universe from the outside. You are here to attune to its rhythm from within. When you soften your grip, you allow the sacred to take shape. You begin to see beauty where once there was noise. You begin to sense meaning in the mundane. You begin to remember who you were before the world told you who to be. You are the alignment. You are the opening. You are the opening. You are the mirror through which the cosmos speaks. So now, breathe, deeper than before. Let the tension fall from your shoulders. Let the noise of the day fade like smoke. In this space, there is nothing to fix, nothing to prove, only a vast invitation to feel, to listen, to receive. And as you prepare to journey with us through the sacred frequencies ahead, ask yourself, what sacred truth within me is quietly waiting to be seen, not as a destination, but as a long-forgotten home. Number 6. The harmonizer's light. There is a number that doesn't arrive with thunder, it doesn't demand, it doesn't conquer. Instead it enters like a monk walking barefoot at dawn, soft, steady, and sacred. This is number 6, the harmonizer of all frequencies, the silent guardian of the unseen. In the sacred order of the universe, where chaos roars and egos clash, 6 comes, not to lead the battle, but to bring every soul home. It is the sound of stillness, the breath between storms, the tender bridge between the wound and the healing. In Buddhist wisdom, this number is a reflection of the 6 paramitas, the perfections that ferry the soul across the turbulent ocean of samsara. Generosity, morality, patience, energy, meditation, and wisdom. These are not just qualities, they are portals, and every time you choose kindness over reaction, every time you pause to breathe before speaking, every time you offer without expecting, you walk through one of these portals. You evolve not just your own soul, but the karmic lineage of generations before and after you. Number 6 holds the sacred geometry of sacred service. It shows up in the patterns of harmony that hold life together, in the way a parent sacrifices without recognition, in the hands that cook meals for strangers, in the quiet strength of someone who carries burdens without complaint. In ancient Buddhist texts, hidden in Himalayan caves, 6 was known as the number of inner light, a vibration that stabilizes not just homes and families, but the energetic blueprint of the earth itself. Without the 6 frequency, there would be no balance between giving and taking, no protection between chaos and calm. Baba Vanga, in her later prophecies, spoke of a great silent healer who would rise in the hearts of many, not through religion, not through fame, but through the quiet return to compassion. She believed the energy of this healer would come when humanity had almost forgotten softness, and then it would rise like a silent tide. That tide is number 6. It is the vibration that walks beside those who feel everything deeply but speak little. It is the silent whisper behind those who light candles when others scream in the dark. In the cryptic quatrains of Nostradamus, there lies mention of a circle of peace born from the 6th light, an era led not by kings, but by caregivers. Those who nurture, those who restore, those who rebuild not with bricks, but with presence. When number 6 appears to you, it is an invitation to return to this sacred path, to become the unshakable center in a world addicted to extremes. You were never meant to be loud, you were meant to be steady. Number 6 is not about perfection in the eyes of others, it is about alignment in the soul. It reminds us that our deepest power lies in our ability to harmonize the sacred within with the chaos without. The ancients believed that when the number 6 appears repeatedly, whether in clocks, dreams, addresses, it signals a karmic moment of choice. Will you react with fear or respond with love? Will you defend your ego or serve your purpose? In Tibetan numerology, 6 was often painted as a spiral enfolded in a lotus, a symbol of inner flowering through patience. To carry this number is to become the sacred servant of peace. You become the person others feel safe around. You become the quiet presence that holds space when words fail. It may never bring applause, it may never make headlines, but in the subtle world of energy, your vibration becomes a sanctuary. Even the 6 realms of samsara, described in Buddhist philosophy, reflect this truth. Every realm, be it the gods, the titans, the hungry ghosts, the animals, the hells, or the human realm, suffers from imbalance. And number 6 comes as the great rebalancer. Its vibration helps us rise out of illusion and come back into alignment with truth. You may have been born into pain, but you were coded for peace. This number is not here to excite you. It's here to remind you that the most powerful transformation isn't loud, it's gentle. That the most sacred purpose isn't to shine, but to steady. That you are not here to be everything to everyone. You are here to be the soft voice that remembers all is one, all can be healed, all begins with love. So as you reflect now, ask yourself with soft honesty, can I become the quiet healer of my world? Can I offer peace even when I don't receive it back? Am I ready to live not just loudly, but lovingly? Number 11, the master of intuition. There are numbers that guide, numbers that ground, and then there are numbers that awaken. Master number 11 is not a step, it is a threshold, a sacred gateway between this world and the unseen. To encounter it is not chance, it is invitation, not from the mind, but from the soul, a whisper through time, a flicker in the mirror, a rhythm that plays behind your heartbeat, subtle, silent, yet soul-shaking. 11 is the call of the ancient within you, rising once more to be known, heard, and lived. This number stands like two pillars of light, twin flames of divine energy, reaching toward the heavens. In numerology, it is not reduced, because it is already complete. It speaks not in words, but in vibrations, the quiet frequency of seers, dreamers, and mystics who walk among us, half in this world, half in the next. It doesn't tell you what to do, it reminds you of what you've always known. It is the pulse beneath your doubt, the echo behind your questions, the light beneath the fog. 11 is the cosmic alignment of truth and trust, the kind of trust that cannot be taught, only remembered. In Buddhist philosophy, this number echoes the awakened eye, one that does not merely see form, but the emptiness and fullness beneath it. The Buddha taught that insight arises not from thinking, but from direct experience of truth. 11 is this clarity, it is pratyaksa, direct knowing, untouched by thought, unclouded by emotion. It is the moment the mind grows still and a deeper voice, ancient and silent, begins to speak. 11 lives in that voice, it is the one that speaks without sound, and guides without steps. It does not move fast, but it moves certain, and when you follow it, you are never lost. Those who are called by 11 often feel different from birth, not broken, but sensitive, deep, often burdened with emotions they can't explain. As children, they sensed energies, felt moods, carried the sadness of others as if it were their own. Society may have labeled them too emotional, too quiet, too strange, but in truth, they were too awake for a sleeping world. This sensitivity is not weakness, it is the very compass of your soul. You were never meant to harden, you were meant to guide, softly, soulfully, with truth, pulsing through your presence. Nostradamus once wrote of those who would see the invisible threads of fate, long before others noticed the weave. These are the 11s. You may find yourself predicting patterns, sensing shifts, dreaming of places you've never seen, but feel like home. These are not fantasies, these are echoes, soul memories rising to the surface, gently urging you to remember who you are. Baba Vanga, blind to the physical world, once said that true sight is a gift given to those whose hearts are quiet. 11 carries this quiet, a luminous silence, where truth reveals itself, slowly and without effort. But to walk the path of 11 is to carry the double-edged gift of knowing. You see too much, feel too deeply, hear the things left unspoken. You walk into rooms and feel the energy shift. You touch a hand and sense the ache behind the smile. This is not your imagination. This is your mastery, and yet, the world may not always understand it. That is part of the sacred loneliness of the intuitive path. You are here to guide, not to be guided, to light the way, even when no one sees the lamp in your hand. 11 is also the gateway number of divine timing. When it begins to appear on clocks, doors, receipts, dreams, it is not coincidence. It is confirmation. It means the veil is thin. Your guides are near. Your intuition is being activated on a higher octave. It is the moment between breath and decision, when you feel the nudge, the whisper, the pull. Do not second guess it. 11 doesn't shout, it simply waits for you to listen. This number reminds you that your purpose is not outside you, it is within you, waiting to be lived. So you may not know every step, but you will always feel the next one. 11 walks with those who walk by faith, not fear, by intuition, not logic, by remembrance, not rule. You are not here to be validated, you are here to be aligned. So pause now, close your eyes. What have you been feeling quietly, beneath your thoughts? What dream or direction has been calling even when it makes no sense? What is your soul already whispering? Because the world may ask for proof, but your soul only asks for trust. Will you trust the invisible compass that has never led you astray? Number 23, the alchemy of motion. There comes a moment in every seeker's journey when the still waters begin to stir, when the winds shift, and the soul, once patient, begins to throb with an unexplainable urgency. It is in that moment that number 23 enters, not as a whisper, but as a current strong, alive, and filled with divine mischief. For this number does not come to lull you into silence. It comes to wake the fire sleeping in your bones. It arrives like a sacred breeze through a door you forgot to open, inviting you not to think, but to move. In the sacred geometry of numbers, 2 and 3 blend to birth this frequency of action. 2, the number of balance, partnership, intuition. 3, the number of expression, creation, divine artistry. When combined, they do not rest. They surge. They swirl into motion, like wind meeting flame. 23 is not content with contemplation alone. It is the transformation of thought into force, of hesitation into forward flow. It reminds you that motion itself is a kind of prayer, one that says to the universe, I am willing. And this motion is not chaotic. In Buddhist teachings, there is no such thing as true disorder, only the misunderstood dance of impermanence. All things shift, all forms dissolve. Even mountains crumble, even rivers change course. To cling is suffering, but to move is liberation. The great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh once whispered, thanks to impermanence, everything is possible. Number 23 is the embodiment of that possibility. It says, do not mourn the change, become it. This sacred number is the alchemist of the soul. In numerology, 23 is the transformer, the spiritual artisan that turns fear into action, longing into creation, dreams into embodied reality. It is the unseen hand that nudges the artist to paint, the poet to write, the lover to speak. It is subtle but insistent. It does not scream. It calls with a steady rhythm, now, now, now. And every time we listen, something ancient within us stirs, a knowing that we were never meant to remain still. Nostradamus, in his cryptic quatrains, often wrote of times when sudden movement would disrupt the known world, opening the way for revelation. Baba Vanga foresaw the rise of those who would break old molds to birth a new collective rhythm, souls who would not be afraid to walk paths that hadn't yet been paved. And here you are listening now, feeling that same tremble beneath your feet. Number 23 does not promise certainty, but it does promise alignment if you are willing to walk forward without needing all the answers first. This is the divine paradox. Motion brings clarity, not the other way around. You do not wait for the fog to lift before taking a step. You take the step, and the fog lifts. 23 teaches that movement is the mirror through which the soul begins to recognize its own reflection. It urges you, send the message, start the journey, try again, say yes. Even when the heart trembles, especially when the heart trembles. For within that trembling is the truth that you are alive and ready. And let us not forget, 23 is also the number of divine play. It holds within it the child's laughter, the wanderer's delight, the sacred joy of not knowing what comes next. Too often, we bind ourselves with expectations and fear, but 23 says, become light again. Loosen your grip, dance, even if you don't know the steps. It is not recklessness, it is holy surrender. It is trust not in outcomes, but in your ability to adapt, to learn, to flow, like water that remembers its source. Under the gaze of 23, even failure is transformed. It becomes not shame, but shaping, not punishment, but passage. The path you were meant to walk may be winding, but it is yours. The delays, the detours, the deserts, they were never mistakes. They were choreography. Number 23 teaches that destiny is not a destination, but a dance, and you, dear soul, are invited to move with it, not against it. So close your eyes now, breathe deeply. Do you feel it? That pull in your chest, that quiet ache that says there is more. That is 23 speaking to you in a language older than time. It is the pulse of your own becoming. It does not demand perfection. It simply asks that you begin, that you trust the moment, the motion, the unfolding. And so I ask you now, what would happen if you stopped waiting and simply took one sacred step forward? And now, gentle soul, take a final breath, not to end this journey, but to seal it in light. You have just walked through the sacred energies of 6, 11 and 23, three frequencies, yet one divine current flowing through your life's unseen corners. Number 6 held you like a mother's gaze, unconditional, soft and healing. It reminded you that harmony is not weakness, and care is not compromise. It is strength wrapped in stillness, love anchored in wisdom. Number 11 took you deeper, beyond logic, into the realm where visions rise and doubts dissolve. It opened the gate of the inner mystic, the silent knower who has walked these paths long before this lifetime. It reminded you to trust not the noise, but the knowing that stirs within when all is quiet. And then came number 23, motion, transformation, and divine mischief. It danced in with laughter, reminding you that impermanence is not loss, it is possibility. It is the wind that carries the seed, the fire that turns coal into diamond. It is the sacred alchemy of becoming. Together, these numbers do not predict your life, they awaken your life. They ask not to be feared, but followed. They ask you to soften, to listen, to act, to remember. The teachings of Buddha echo through them. The visions of Nostradamus and Baba Vanga shimmer beneath their surface. They are not random, they are rhythm. So breathe it in. You are not just living, you are aligning, you are remembering. Now I invite you to share your heart with this soul tribe. Which number, 6, 11 or 23, resonated deepest within you today? Type it in the comments and speak this softly to yourself. I receive, I align, I remember who I am.